Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Fitz with explore.org. Joining me is Felicia Jimenez, a park ranger who works for Katmai National Park in Alaska. Welcome to our video series for Fat Bear Week in the classroom. The questions we are answering were submitted by students in advance, and thanks to everybody who submitted their questions. Hunger is perhaps one of the strongest feelings that people can experience, and I think it's the same for bears. Bears love to eat. They love to eat a lot of food. You might be amazed by the amount of food that a bear can eat per day. And Felicia, we got a lot of questions about that actually. So let's try to understand the hunger of bears. Oliver, who is in second grade at Quarry Hill Elementary, asked, how many salmon do the fattest bears eat?
This is a great question. So bears love salmon and they need to eat a lot of salmon to gain that weight for hibernation. And on average, your typical bear probably catches around 10 salmon per day. But Bear 480 is a special bear that we want to highlight in the Fat Bear Week bracket. He has been recorded for, having 42 salmon within a 5 hour period. Um, and that's a lot of calories, and that's going to definitely help him build the fat reserves and gain the weight needed to survive hibernation.
And each one of those fish could weigh something around like 5 pounds. So you could do the
Mhm.
math and think about how many pounds of salmon he ate in that 5 hour period. Really amazing. Another question related to this comes from Aya, who is in fifth grade at Richardson Elementary. And Aya wonders, do bears suffer if they eat too much? I feel really uncomfortable if I eat too much food, but what do we know about brown bears?
So bears, towards in fall, when they're getting ready to prep for hibernation, they enter this special state called hyperphagia, which means they're really, really hungry, and the signals in their brain that tell them to stop eating actually don't turn on anymore. So they don't feel full like you and I do. So they keep eating and eating and eating because they have a limited amount of time to get that food. But they take breaks. They definitely take nap breaks. One bear that we want to highlight is Bear 747. He's a big bear. He can catch a lot of fish and eat a lot of fish every day, but he also likes to take lots of naps and has been seen napping on rocks in between meals. So maybe that's a way that bears are dealing with all of the time that they take to eat.
And bears feel an incredible hunger throughout the summer, and
Mhm.
especially so in late summer and in early fall. This doesn't explain why they feel so hungry, though. Uh, and,
Mhm.
and, and Dinah, who is in seventh grade at RKMS, asks, why do they need to eat so much food?
That's also a great question. So bears, like we discussed a little bit earlier, they go into this state called hyperphagia, right? So they're not feeling very full and they're really, really hungry, but they need to be hungry because they only have a short amount of time to eat the food that they need before hibernation. So they come out of hibernation in the spring, and they have spring, summer, and a little bit of fall to gain all the weight they need through the winter. So during that time in the winter, they're not eating, they're not drinking, they're not going to the bathroom. So all of the energy and water that they need to make it through hibernation, they have to get by eating all of that food during that short amount of time, that 6 month period of time to gain fat. And then they live off of those fat reserves in the den. And moms, especially mother bears, have an even higher stake. One bear that we want to highlight is Bear 402. She's the bear in Brooks River that has had the most amount of litters out of any bear on the river. She's our most experienced mom. And females, especially, have a pretty high stake because females and bears have delayed implantation, which means that the amount of fat that they build in the summertime is going to affect if they get to have cubs or not. If they don't gain enough, fat, then they're not able to sustain any of the embryos that are implanted in their uterus. So it can, affect whether or not they have cubs later on in the winter when they're in hibernation.
So bears need to get fat to survive, and hunger is
Mm-hmm.
perhaps one of the strongest feelings that people can experience, and I think it's the same for bears. Well, thanks for listening, everybody, and be sure to check out our other videos for Fat Bear Week in the classroom and watch the bears of Katmai on live webcams at explore.org/bears. Finally, if you are a teacher, then along with watching this program, be sure to check out the extension activities on Katmai's website at nps.gov/KAT.